Hi, everybody. Doug Fields here with another edition of 5-Minute Youth Ministry. I'm with Jessica Torres. Jessica Torres works with my friend Josh Griffin at Saddleback in the high school ministry. He's been there 5 years.
Yeah.
My daughter, my youngest daughter, 19, she is her hero. She's kind of been a mentor to her. Just tell me, because I miss her, tell me something wonderful about my daughter.
I know, she's in college.
I know.
Cassie is probably one of the most compassionate people I have ever met.
Okay.
She's lovely.
It's not about Cassie, it's about you. 5 minutes. Here we go. Let's talk small groups, because you oversee hundreds of small groups. So you're a pro at this. And for many of our people that are either deep into small groups or just starting with small groups, what do you see as some of the let's go to 2 reasons why you love small groups.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons for why I'm a huge fan of small groups is it's a great way for students to get connected to a mentor. I love the idea of an adult pouring into the life of a student in a super intentional way, especially when anything can happen at small group. I mean, you can go through a lesson or you might not go through the lesson. You might just talk about life that night. And so I love a student being able to develop a relationship with an adult mentor and someone that would just disciple them and just love them. The second reason for why I think I love small groups is it's a great way for students to get to know each other. It's easy in Sunday school or in a larger group setting for students to shy away from getting to know somebody else because they're intimidated or they're just afraid to step out of their comfort zone. But when you are kind of just thrown together in a group, whether it be meeting in a home or on a church, in a building, you are able to finally look at somebody in the eye and you can't necessarily hide from them anymore.
Yeah.
Although it might begin as a superficial friendship and you just answer the questions that are being asked of you, I've seen it countless times. The ice will break. Somebody will speak up. Somebody will be able to share something.
Yeah, it starts, what we've just talked about on the podcast a little bit ago, it starts from artificial to authentic is ultimately the goal. What are some learnings that you've had to, you've had to recruit volunteers, you've had to fire volunteers, you've had to coach volunteers, you've had to coach them up, you've had to calm them down. What are some tips that you would give to youth workers about, here's like my top things that I do with small group leaders?
One of the things that I think is so important that I've not been great at always, but it's so important and I'm learning to make it a priority, is always share the vision and the purpose for small groups. Is if you're not reminding them of how small groups fit in the bigger picture of your ministry and the goals that you want to accomplish through small groups, eventually that group will kind of become whatever it wants to become. And each of them has to have its own unique identity, but you definitely don't want people to just run off course and maybe develop a support group at small group. We have a purpose and we have a goal within our small group, so we want to remind them of our goals and our vision. It's so important. The second thing is do not stop encouraging them. It can be really discouraging when students may not be showing up to their small group, or when a student's not thankful that you gave them a ride home after small group for 4 weeks in a row. And so you have to be their number one cheerleader until students get old enough to recognize the huge sacrifice that these leaders are, making and pouring into their lives. And so I think continually train them, even if it's midway through the year, remind them of the vision. It's usually at that point that they need that reminder.
Yeah.
And also make sure that you're encouraging them always.
Yeah. What about, how do you set them up to win? So let's talk, curriculum, follow-up, any type of, when the kid in the small group goes into crisis. So address some of the stuff that you would, some of those tactical things.
Right. We definitely do a launch at the beginning of the year. And so you want to leave them after that launch feeling like they are so prepared to lead their small group. We do a huge training at the beginning of the year filled with curriculum, with every resource that they could possibly need during the year. Halfway through the year, they will forget they have anything in that binder. And so it is a face-to-face touch base. And so we encourage all of our team to meet with our pastors face-to-face. And so we look for them. We are saying, I want to have coffee with you. I want to treat you to lunch. I want to spend time with you. And so face-to-face is so much more powerful than email, I think. There's something that you can get from email. You're totally able to get information, attendance, book or schedule a date. But face-to-face is so powerful. You're able to not only see where they are in their ministry, but you're able to see where they are in their own life. And we are pastoring adults as much as we're pastoring teenagers.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the keys, I think, is as a leader, if you are a leader of leaders, you are investing into that small group leader in the same way you want them to invest into kids. So in some ways you're modeling it. You're asking them about their faith journey. You're asking them about their family. You're pouring into their life with the hopes that what you just did with them, they'll do with
that they would
their
do.
kids.
And that's a great point that you asked me about crisis is a leader might be going through a crisis, and you walking through that crisis with them in the same way that you want them to walk through crisis with their students is so powerful. But even with that, when a leader doesn't know what to do with crisis and doesn't know what to do when something unexpected like that happens, is you walk alongside them in that. Not everybody knows how to report abuse. Not everybody knows what to do when a family member is dying. And so we come alongside them and we make sure that they never feel alone in that situation.
Good. That's a great way to end it, that they never feel alone. Thanks for loving my daughter. Thanks for caring for so many small group leaders. There it is, 5-Minute Youth Ministry with Jessica Torres.